Nature! It's wonderful.
The Iron Lady, quite literally. This is essentially a giant Waitrose. Honestly, I keep getting blown away by the Falkland Islands, and I'm really not just saying that. Good morning. It's very windy this morning, but we're about to fly out to East Falkland, back to Stanley. It's been beautiful yesterday in Bleaker Island. Go and check out that video if you haven't. But right now, heading back to Stanley, and I'm going to give you some more information about the Falkland Islands. Let's go. Made it. Started raining halfway through, so that was a tiny bit hairy. It was fine. I just felt it. Wobbled a lot. Now here, back in Stanley, and about to head on to my hotel. It seems important. Fish and chips. Got some very British phone boxes, the post office, and of course our red post box. Okay, I am now back in Stanley in East Falkland Islands, and this is the capital of the Falklands. I kind of just wanted to walk around and see the similarities to the UK. Obviously it's still a part of the UK, and actually interestingly enough, David Cameron was here yesterday and actually might still be here right now. I think he's here on a trip as a foreign minister, so he visited, got to say hello to a lot of people, and is probably flying out today. Interesting side note. Yeah, I'm gonna have a look around and see what I can see. So of course the Falkland Islands is a British overseas territory, and some of you will know there was a war here, the 1982 war between April and June, I believe, in 1982 with Argentina, where the people fought back, wanted to remain British, and so Margaret Thatcher, in her wisdom, sent over troops, and we had a war here for 2 months. Argentina retreated. Now that's like a very, very loose overview of it. I'd more recommend to go and look it up yourself. I'm not an expert. I'll put a link in the description below for a video you can go watch if you want to know the intricacies of it, but it's still a big part of people's history here. People had friends and relatives that died in the war here, both from the Argentinian and British side, so it's still an important part of the Falkland Islands history. I'm just walking along now because I think there's a statue somewhere, or a bust of Margaret Thatcher, I think I might be able to find. Here she is, the Iron Lady, quite literally. They are few in number, but have the right to live in peace and choose their own way of life and to determine their own allegiance. I have to say, there are varying opinions on Margaret Thatcher if you're from the UK. She's a divisive character, but here in the Falklands, they see her, or a lot of the older generation, see her as a bit of a liberator, as a hero in a sense. I just saw something in the bay. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't help it. I was trying to talk about serious stuff, and then I saw dolphins. Very cool, didn't expect that. But yeah, I do think she is still seen as a bit of a hero here by the older generation, and probably still the younger generation, I don't know. But she was someone that stood up against the Argentinian forces coming in. I don't think people here, from what I understand, really ever wanted to be Argentinian. So that quote rings quite true, that even though we're few in numbers, or you are few in numbers, you have the right to decide. Yeah, all very interesting. Plus dolphins. Now, actually, another thing I remember is there was always a debate whether or not the Falkland Islanders or the Las Malvinas Islanders wanted to remain British or not, and they held a referendum a few years back. I think it was 2013, and the vote came out 99% wanted to remain British. I think there were 3 people, something like that, that wanted to be Argentinian instead. But actually, people voted to remain British. I think the Falkland Islanders that I've spoken to are quite proud of that heritage. This is funny. This is basically all Waitrose stuff. Essential Waitrose. For anyone that doesn't know, Waitrose is a bit of a upmarket supermarket in the UK. This is essentially a giant Waitrose in the Falkland Islands. It's also weird because it's just like like all the normal British stuff, but I don't often have because I'm not there as often as I used to be, doing a lot more travelling. And it's just weird, I feel like I'm back in England, but I'm on the other side of the world. Strange little differences and similarities. And this is where I'm staying, Malvina House Hotel. And this is my room for the next 4 nights. So I'm staying in Stanley and I'm going to be doing a few day trips around the island. I think tomorrow I'm going out to Volunteer Point. And there's a few little places to see here. There's also lots of other islands you could go to in the Falkland Islands. I was chatting to people yesterday and they're all going to different islands that all sound really interesting. But I'm staying on this mainland for the next few days. I'm going to explore around here. And I just went into the bathroom and check it out. I have a handy capable shower. So when I want to, I can have a sit down shower. Alright, good morning. It's now the morning after. Just spent a nice chilled night in Stanley and I'm about to get picked up and head out to Volunteer Point. Now, as far as I know, this is one of the main places to see here on the island. I think there's a huge colony of king penguins, which is exciting. It does take 2.5 hours to get there and I'm told it's pretty off-road, so I best get going.
And then, what, do you want to make your bag? You want to serve me as well?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't really need anything. I'll just grab my water.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So you hop into the front there.
Perfect. So we've just driven about an hour out so far, and from this point it's about to get pretty off-road. You need to get permission to go to the Volunteers Point, and you also need to have a 4x4 and some tyres of a certain size. So I'm told it's going to get pretty up and down here. Actually, I was also just told by Karen, our guide, that before the end of the 1980s there were no roads on the Falklands, so it was all like this is about to be, and then the roads came in at the end of the 1980s, so this would have taken a lot longer than it's going to take today. Let's go. We've just arrived to Volunteer Point. This is an accommodation you can stay at and it's fully self-sufficient. I'm not staying there because I'm just doing a day trip, but we just had to, as we got here, rinse off our feet again to protect the wildlife here for bird flu, and we're now about to go a little bit further down to the coast and there should be a huge colony of king penguins. Yeah, really interesting journey. Just been chatting the whole way, learning more about the Falkland Islands, going up and down off-road, and now we're here. So this is Volunteer Point. We've just arrived and there's only one other jeep here. Now if you can see behind me, this whole area is a landing area for the jeeps that would come from the cruise ship. And there could be, if there's a cruise ship in port, there could be up to 90 jeeps. So sometimes there's 200, 250 people here. Right now, I've got it completely, or almost completely, to myself. He said maybe we'll see 3 other people today. And a lot of penguins. Right in front of me, I can see there's a king penguin colony, which I've never seen a king penguin in the wild, besides the one we just drove past. And I can see thousands of them. Check this out. Just listen to that noise. I'm going to sit here for a while. I have 4 hours here to do whatever, so I'm just going to sit and watch them. They're actually nesting right now, so I can see all the chicks in amongst them. There's these rocks here. This is as close as you're allowed to go, so I'm not going to go any further than that. You can see them nesting. You can see some of the penguins have eggs. You see some chicks, they're all fluffy. It's actually amazing. I've just been watching one of the king penguins try to encourage its chick to start moving and keeps nudging him to get up. It's yeah, pretty amazing. What is going on with this? Honestly, I keep getting blown away by the Falkland Islands, and I'm really not just saying that. Like, maybe it's because I didn't have expectations coming into this trip that I'm just being mind blown. But I started this video in Bleaker Island, and I thought in that last video that had topped, or I'd peaked here, like getting to sit next to the Gen 2 penguins. I think it's Gen 2. And then go for the run around the island and seeing all of that. That was incredible. And then now with just these masses of king penguins and their chicks is like another level. So yeah, I don't know, this has been a very inspiring trip so far, and I don't know, I can't describe how cool it is to see them naturally like this. So crazy. They're so inquisitive. I literally just sat down and they've come over. Okay, sir. It's not food. Okay, I'll move out of the way. I'm going now. Didn't mean to disturb you. Okay. Alright, bye-bye. Yeah, they basically told me, don't approach them, stay 6 meters away, but if you sit down and they approach you, then don't make sudden movements, and that's okay. So those guys just came straight up to me. I did exactly that, and then he started nipping my trainers. So then I thought it was time to leave. I don't want to disturb them. Wow, so cool. I guess they didn't see that many humans, so they have no reason to really fear us. They're just curious, and they just come right up to you. Check it out. These are all penguin tracks. Just as a side note, you might have noticed, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, that the shooting style or quality has kind of changed. As he says that, I'm gone off frame. The reason is I'm just using the DJI Pocket 3 and my iPhone to shoot everything. And besides it just being like easier, it's more minimalist, there's less stuff to carry. I think it also gives you more of a real perspective of what a place is like, rather than including loads of flashy drone shots and over-edited cinematography. I think it's almost nicer these days, and I prefer it to try and show what you're actually going to see if you come somewhere like this. And I think what you're actually going to see is pretty incredible. I don't think it needs to be edited. I think they're deciding if there's a seal or sea lion out there. There's this big group of king penguins behind me, and I've seen them a few times attempt to go in the water. A few of them do, and then they come running and scuttling back out. And I'm wondering if it's because there's a seal or sea lion in there or something, so they keep testing it and then darting back out, which of course would be a bit brutal, but I would also quite like to see that and get it on camera if there was a seal or sea lion in there. Well, let's see. Just seen some birds picking at something from a distance, so I'm wondering what it is. Might be my chance to see a seal. Yeah, gross footage warning. Tune out for the next bit if you don't want to see this. Yeah. Well, there's the first seal I've seen. Try and get across without falling into this water. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm demonetized. Yeah. Nature. It's wonderful. If that's like that, it was probably a killer whale that did it. So I guess I don't want to hang around here too long. There you go. I can now say I did see a seal. Just wasn't very alive. I think it was probably a sea lion actually, rather than a seal. They do have elephant seals here, but I think that was a sea lion. Fun fact, sea lion in Spanish is lobos marinos, which is sea wolf. And I do think they're more like wolves or more like dogs than they are like lions. They bark. They don't really roar. Yeah. Fun fact, interesting, don't know. Anyway. Everywhere you go here, there are penguins. I swear. I just went around the corner thinking I was done with filming, and then there's this many penguins. These are the Gen 2s, I think. Well, that's one of the best ways I've spent 4 hours. This feels like a good place to finish. What an experience. I think it's still so loud. There's still a 2.5 hour drive to get back to Stanley, and I think once I'm back there, I'm just gonna chill and relax for the rest of the day. Fuck that. I'm gonna go for a run, wrestle the dolphins the other day, finish the day, a great day, another great day in the Falklands, and I'll say goodbye to you here. Thank you again for watching. Still more to come. I'm off on another tour tomorrow, going to explore more of the Falklands. See you in the next video.